I'm exhausted. Like, I'm so serious when I tell you I'm tired of hell. My kids were up at 6 in the morning, which might not seem that big a deal to most people, but it's like when my kids usually get up at 8, it's a big deal. Anyways, I had an idea. So I feel like with every makeup product, there's a specific brand for somebody that has had such amazing experiences with their products that they think like, okay, this brand is always going to nail this type of product. And having that relationship to the brand, you kind of think like every time they release a new product, you're like, yeah, you're releasing a new face primer. I enjoy all your face primers before that. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to pick this up. So I thought it'd be so cool to do kind of like a new tag video where we talk about that specific brand associated with that specific product for that specific YouTuber. So I don't know, like if you have a specific brand that you think does a specific product well, then we'll say, oh, hello. I don't know. It's just something I thought would be fun. The brand that I think always does the best face primers is Milk Makeup. I think Milk Makeup is really stunning when it comes to their face primers. I'm not using any of these products in today's video because I do have a shot my cash. But Milk Makeup originally like got hype, I think personally, when the Hydro Grip kind of came out. And e.l.f. actually has a dupe, so if you want to try the Hydro Grip, then check out the Power Grip from e.l.f. But I personally think e.l.f. or Milk Makeup got hype back in the day when they released the Hydro Grip primer. And they have a whole Hydro Grip line at this point in time. They have the Hydro Grip setting spray, they have the Hydro Grip eye primer. Not a lot of people like the eye primer, but I've seen like Fatty Bean use the eye primer, so maybe it's some people like it. I don't know if you like it. Let's talk about it in the comment section. But what brand do you associate, like I associate Milk Makeup with their face primers because of that predetermined notion that they have the Hydro Grip that went really viral. I like the Pore Eclipse. I have the new Cloud Set one, or not Cloud Set, Cloud Brightening one with a foaming primer, which I love. What brand do you associate with face primers? I personally think that Urban Decay has the best eye primers. I know that this is a finicky like category for people because there are people out there that don't use an eye base. They just use concealer, and there's people that just don't even use an eye base whatsoever. They don't use concealer. They just kind of slap the shadow in there. I prefer to use an eye base. I've used a concealer before as an eye base, and I just think that an eyeshadow primer is just better designed for it because it's designed to hold your shadows in place. Like that's what it's designed to do. Urban Decay, when I first was getting into makeup, was honestly the only brand I was hearing about eye primers when I first got into makeup, which remember was in 2015. So I don't think that eye primers is really that big of a category, to be completely honest. Like I don't think that they're that big of a category. But even back then, they were even smaller. And I feel like everybody was using Urban Decay primer potion. Always have the best eyeshadow palettes. Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona is always going to hit it out of the park no matter what. It just depends on what kind of color story you enjoy. I'm going to be using the Baby Gold palette today. But I think that Natasha Denona has really perfected her craft when it comes to her eyeshadow palettes. And she has really perfected color stories also. She has, honestly, so many color stories that I cannot see her making anymore, honestly. But I'm sure she will. Like, there is an endless amount of color stories that can be made. The one thing I have to say about Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes is that they're laid out very differently in the sense of, like, I like eyeshadow palettes that traditionally go lightest to darkest, and her palettes do that, but the shades are arranged in a different way. Natasha Denona, the formula itself is very user-friendly, like beginner-friendly, but if you're looking for, like, a brand that's going to help you designate colors and where to put them, Natasha Denona isn't the brand I would recommend, but the formula itself is super easy to work with. And she, like I said, has a lot of really good, like, color stories. Like, I think that there's definitely something for everybody, just depending on your price range. I think that she has came down a lot from her luxury prices of, like, over $100. I remember when she first launched, she had, like, $200 palettes. So I definitely think that she's gone down in price for that. I mean, like this baby palette, which is a 3-pan, was $19, which is expensive for a 3-pan palette. I'm going to recommend, if you were on a budget, you go in the sense towards her minis. Her minis have 5 pans, and they're like $25, I believe, or 20. They're 27 actually. I think they were 25 when I started buying them. I believe they're 27 now because price inflation, but they're still really, really good. Another thing that I think is a big selling point for people when it comes to Natasha Denona shadows is that they are magnetic. You can pop them out. The mini palettes you can't pop out, so keep that in mind. But the bigger midi palettes, which are $69, you can pop them out and create a custom color story. So if you find a couple palettes that you really want to create a custom color story with, you are free to do that. And she does have an amazing formula that works very, very well with other shadows as well. Foundations, in my opinion, always. For me, it's going to be Makeup Forever. It's Makeup Forever. For me, it's always been the Makeup Forever HD line. They have like reformulated and re-released this foundation probably like 5 or 6 times since I got into makeup. So that is crazy that they've, released this foundation that many times. But it's always been a spectacular formula. I have to say that the Forever HD, not the glow one that they just released this past year, just the original one that came out last year, 2023, 2022, in that area. That is my go-to foundation for mixing. If I have a formula that is too thin, in my opinion, I will use that. Or if it's too dark or too light of a color, I can use that foundation to mix it in. It'll make the foundation thicker. It makes the foundation more beautiful, more seamless. Like, no matter what I mix that foundation with, it always makes my Wars foundations perform better. Like, you guys wonder how I go through my foundation a days and my shop my stashes with foundations I don't like for a whole week. I mix foundations I like the Makeup Forever, into it, and it makes it a little bit better and more wearable and more bearable. In my foundation a day series, foundation is extremely personal. Not what works for me is not going to work for everybody else. I'm just giving my God's honest opinion on the foundations and why I might keep it in my collection as opposed to why I might get rid of it, as opposed to why I'm keeping one foundation and getting rid of another. To dry skin, so I think that is something that should be kept in mind. I have normal to dry skin. We are going into summer when I'm filming this. It's extremely, like, it's not, my skin is like, it's definitely more on the dry side, but I'm not experiencing patches. But like, my skin could definitely, like, my skin looks like it could use a drink of water basically, but it doesn't have any dry patches yet. It will when we hit winter. That always have the best concealers. For me, I'm gonna say L'Oreal because I've had nothing but good experiences with L'Oreal concealers the past few years. And I wanted to add a little bit of drugstore, and when I think of this, like L'Oreal, I think that they do have a lot of good products. And like I said, their infallible fresh wear concealer is one of my favorite concealers, just in general. Best under eye setting powders, because I think that an under eye setting powder is a loose setting powder. That's what I prefer to set my under eyes with. The brand that I associate this category with is Huda Beauty. Like, to be completely honest, it's Huda Beauty. Her Easy Bake setting powders, loose setting powders, are amazing. I have a couple of them. I buy them typically around my birthday, like January, February, March, April, in that area is when I get them typically. She actually just recently, when I'm filming this, released the like no non-scented version, and she also apparently released the fragrance. I thought it was an April Fool's at first, but it's not. She apparently released the fragrance that she put in her setting powders as an actual perfume and released non-scented versions of her setting powders. It's really weird. I don't recommend the pressed powder though, because I haven't tried the pressed powder. I've heard that it's not as good as the loose setting powder though. People were under the impression that it was the loose setting powder just pressed, but it's not. Pressed powders because I do think that they are 2 different categories and they deserve to be recognized as 2 different categories. So the brand that I think has the best pressed powders is going to be Hourglass. If I'm recommending a pressed powder to you, whether it be to set your face or whatever, to give it a luminous glow, I'm going to recommend you to Hourglass because of the ambient lighting powders. I have every single shade. They release palettes every single year that you could use, that you could get, that have an amazing value that have bronzers and blushes in it. And they've even recently started like saying like, oh, pick your case and we'll put whatever, you know, uh ones you whatever like the light palettes or the medium palette. Like they've recently started doing that, which I think is amazing, especially for like I believe they asked like $90 for these. So I think that that is an amazing tactic they have for the $90 asking price. Next is brows, and I think that everybody kind of has the same idea when it comes to brows, and that is that Benefit Cosmetics actually releases the best brow products. I think Benefit is actually kind of more or less nowadays known for their brow products. For me, it was a toss up between Benefit and Anastasia Beverly Hills, but honestly, Benefit won out because Benefit has more brow products. And I feel like it's also a brand that a lot of people associate with products. Finicky for me, and that is eyeliners. I don't use a liquid or gel eyeliner anymore. I just use eyeshadow currently for my top eyeliner. But I wanted to do something a little bit different for this category because, like I said, I'm very finicky with my eyeliners. I don't pull my eye down to put my pencil eyeliner in. I just want something that's gonna glide right on and is gonna last all day because I do have a tendency for my eyes to water. So I want something that's easy to go into the waterline that's gonna go in with one or two swipes and last all day. I think you can get done at the drugstore. I wear a Rimmel eyeliner all the time, but I'm gonna say Sephora probably has the best eyeliners, and I think I think of Sephora pencil eyeliners when I think of pencil eyeliners because they look creamy and gel, and I want to try them so bad, and they have so many colors that I'm very, very intrigued. They're fighting over a toy, but for mascaras, I'm gonna recommend L'Oreal because I love L'Oreal mascaras. I feel like every L'Oreal mascara I've tried is really, really good. Of using eyelashes, that my eyelashes are not really that good anymore, so I'm not working with a lot anymore. So I need a good mascara. And like I said, every L'Oreal mascara that I've tried is actually pretty good, except for the telescopic lips. That one I didn't like, but Lash Paradise, the original telescopic is really good. I'm really into the Panorama right now. Category is brand that always has the best bronzers. I think that this is probably going to be a lot of people's answer, and that is Physicians Formula. Physicians Formula is a drugstore, more affordable brand, and I just feel like they had the bronze booster originally when I was getting into makeup that everybody loved. So they were definitely a good bronzer brand before the butter bronzer. But when the butter bronzer released, that definitely I think really got them hype. They released the Matte Minoy bronzer, which I've tried in a Butter Dream palette, which is a palette I definitely recommend. I have kept both of mine, and it does have the butter bronzer, and it sometimes will have the Matte Minoy bronzer in it, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I wish that their color stories were a little bit better. I have seen their 2024 makeup release, and I'm very intrigued. So, I have to buy a lot of Physicians Formula makeup. I have to do it. So, the brand that, in my opinion, has the best blushes is Rare Beauty. Rare Beauty. And it's not just the liquid blushes. They have some cream blushes that I think people will really like. And they currently, at the time of me filming this, did just release some luminous blushes. The luminous blushes are just definitely not for me because if you don't know, now you do. I don't like a shimmery look everywhere. I want my look to be dewy on like my foundation and like my powder and stuff like that. I like the luminous dewy look there. I like my highlight to be bang pop in your face. And I like my cheeks to be matte, so I tend to steer clear of luminous products on like blushes like that. So I don't know if I'll pick up any of those because it just doesn't make sense for my style of makeup, but they have 3 different formulas, so I think that there's something for everybody out there. I'm gonna have to say Anastasia Beverly Hills because I love that Glow Seeker highlighter. And it seems like that's gonna be their new formula. Of course, before that, I did love their other highlighters. I have quite a few highlighters from Anastasia. I have loose highlighters from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have the Reezy highlighter. I have the Iced Out highlighter. I mean, I have a lot of highlighters from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love them all in different ways. So there's that. But I really love the new formula that they released in the Glow Seeker highlighter, and I hope that they release more shades and they continue with that formula because it's amazing. So this is actually a category I just added into my collection. I have lip liners, but I don't always use them. I picked up some of e.l.f.'s cream gel or cream glide lip liners yesterday, and I'm gonna use one today. But I did put e.l.f. down because I love their lip liners. Like for when I do use them, I love them. I think that they have different colors and very unique shapes. I think I just get a little overwhelmed when I pick eyeliner or lip liners out, and that's why I tend not to use them. So the brand that always has the best lipsticks, I gave to Charlotte Tilbury because Charlotte Tilbury, I've said it before, has like 50 different lipstick formulas, but she knows a good lipstick formula for sure. At the time of me filming this, she actually just released Pillow Talk in a light shade, it's like Pillow Talk Fair. I want to try it so bad. For the lip gloss category, I actually put Maybelline down because of the lifter glosses. The lip glosses are just so amazing. They actually just released plumping versions of it, which I'm afraid to try because when I like plumping, I like the minty, like plumping. Like this has this is the Lawless Forget the Filler lipstick in the shade Wedding Day. It has a more plumpy feel to it, like a minty feel to it. Ooh. And I really, really like the minty feel. I don't like burning stuff. I'm not really a spicy food person, but whenever I'm wearing like a plumping thing like this and it has a minty feel to it, it kind of reminds me of brushing my teeth. So I'm kind of used to it because I brush my teeth every day. So category, I put Anastasia Beverly Hills down again. So I'm not typically, I don't like, as I just say, I don't like spicy stuff. I don't notice a feel on my lips. So I can wear a very dry liquid lipstick to a lot of people and have it not really affect my lips because for some reason I just don't feel like stuff like that on my lips. The reason I don't like hot and spicy plumpers or I'm scared to try them is because I don't like hot and spicy food. So there is that. But I put Anastasia Beverly Hills down for the liquid lipstick category because of their new lip velvets. I love those. It definitely has a very powdery feel, but it's very comfortable. And I think that it's a formula that will be very comfortable for a lot of people, which is why I definitely put this down. I have almost every single shade. I'm literally planning to get the 2 shades I don't own. And I have so many lip products, so that should say something. Setting sprays, put MAC down because MAC is so iconic with their Fix Plus spray. MAC Fix Plus was like all the rage when I was getting into makeup back in 2015, and I still feel like it has its own hype around it, even though like there are other setting sprays that have released. I definitely feel like the Fix Plus still has its own hype. Without lashes, these are the Glam Light and Nikayla Pop to High Fashion lashes. Extra videos I have to film today. It is a rainy day, so we're not going outside. We're not. It's rainy and muddy because we have a sand pit in our backyard, so it's literally just muddy. Anyways, this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please let me know what brand you guys think of in these specific categories. I would love to see other people do this. I think that it'd be so much fun to talk about your specific brand that you think of with a specific category, mention your product on what made you think about this brand. I think that it's so much fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I don't know. Let's just see what happens, I guess. I don't know. I think it's fun. I really want to hear what your guys' products are, and I'm going to end the video here. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, y'all.